Hello class, welcome to my educational YouTube channel. You know, the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic has been raising thorny ethical dilemmas. On one hand, we have patients, lots of patients. They have right to live. On the other hand, we have governments, hospitals around the world. They have no facilities, no vaccine, lack of resources, lack of physicians to take care of the patients. They pay taxes, they pay insurance, they pay health care to be taken care of. On the other hand, the government, the hospitals, the lack of facilities to take care of their rights to live. Dilemma. Dear students, we do understand that the state, our state include, has an obligation to provide an emergency medical care. And that's why we're going to relate this dilemma with case study 26. Okay, now let's talk about case study 26. State's obligation to provide emergency medical care. Mr. HS fell off a train at about 7:45 p.m. on July 8. As a result, he suffered serious head injuries and brain hemorrhage. He was taken to the local primary health center. Since necessary facilities or treatment were not available at the primary health center, the medical officer in charge of the center referred him to the nearest hospital for better treatment. And then, HS was taken to the hospital at about 11:45 p.m. on July 8. It means HS, the patient with serious head injuries and brain hemorrhage, had to wait for about 4 hours to be transferred to other hospital. The emergency medical officer in said hospital, after examining him and taking 2 x-rays of his skull, recommended immediate admission for further treatment. Nevertheless, HS could not be admitted to the hospital as no vacant bed was available in the surgical emergency ward, and regular surgery ward was also full. He was thereafter taken to another hospital at about 12:20 a.m. on July 9. But he was not admitted there on the grounds that no vacant bed was available. He was then taken to another hospital about 1 a.m. on July 9. So there is no certain treatment for one whole day from July 8 to July 9. He was not admitted to that hospital on the grounds that the hospital has no ENT emergency or neuro emergency department. At about 2 a.m. on July 9, he was taken to another hospital, but was not admitted also there because no bed was available. At about 9 a.m. on July 9, it means 24 hours from the time he got injured, he was taken to an institute of neurology. Upon examining the CT scan performed at a private hospital after payment, the doctors discovered a hemorrhage in the frontal region of the head and determined this was an emergency case that could not be handled at said institute. At about 10 a.m. on July 9, the patient was taken to yet another hospital, but was also admitted there on the grounds that the hospital has no neurosurgical facilities. Ultimately, he was admitted to a private hospital where he was treated as an inpatient from July 9 through July 22. Finally, he got registered to a private hospital after a long way journey to a lot of hospitals. The question is, Was it correct for the above-mentioned hospitals to refuse to provide medical treatment to HS and to transfer him to another hospital and transfer him again to another hospital, Here are a few but not all possible answers. Discuss them as well as other possible answers. Identify ethical issues and decide which answer applies to your most, giving your reasons. There are two possible answers, yes or no. Yes, what is the reason? Most of the aforementioned hospitals administered first aid to HS, but could not provide him appropriate treatment due to their lack of facilities and medical services to handle complicated situations, such as in this case. So lack of resources, lack of facilities, maybe lack of human resources as well. It was better to transfer HS to an institute that could handle such situations and conditions. No. Why? Depriving a person of medical treatment in emergency case is actually depriving that person of his right to live and his right to live with dignity. So if a patient has a right to live, the hospitals has obligation and government has obligation to take care of the patients. No matter who he was, no matter who he is, no matter what social status he is, it is an obligation for the government and hospital to take care of all of the patients equally. Okay, students, I'm waiting for your answers and response at the comment below. Good luck.